Hello, my name is Sarajane Haney. I am a senior at Blue Valley Southwest. I plan on attending the University of Kansas next year to study elementary education. I entered the teacher ed program because I knew I wanted to teach and I kind of had an idea what grade level I wanted to teach, but I wanted to get that experience through the teacher ed program before I went off to college. Today I'm going to give you a tour of my website and my experience at CAPS. I'm a creative, self-motivated multitasker who is seeking a position from which to educate and develop young minds. I've had a couple different job experiences where I've worked with children. One of them, my very first one, was at Incredible, and I was a children's party host, and I worked with kids aged 6 to 12. And then I was a sales associate at Aldo Shoe Company, and I frequently met my sales goals. And then I was a server at Aberdeen Village Retirement Community, and I worked with independent residents. And then my current job, I am a teacher assistant at Kids Are Kids Learning Center. I work there every afternoon with 22 3 to 4 year olds, and it is a whole lot of fun. It's my favorite job by far. My philosophy of education, I've wanted to be a teacher since as long as I can remember, and I think that education is a lot like a roller coaster. Both you and your students are constantly reaching to be on that same page to reach the peak of understanding. And then once you both reach that peak at the same time, where the student understands and you're understanding, you're both on the same page, it is a moment of relaxation as you go down from that roller coaster. And I think that's what education is constantly. And I think to make a better learning environment for your students, it needs to be a comfortable and home-like environment so that your students feel comfortable around you and coming to classroom and being excited to be there every day. So I have been here since my very first semester in fall of 2014, and my first observation was at Blue Valley West High School. I observed a freshman English class, and I learned a lot about the different learning styles and how to focus and adapt to the different learning styles. I knew going in that I wasn't really interested in learning teaching high school, but I'm glad I got the experience, and now I definitely know I'm not quite interested in high school. And then my second observation was actually at Aubreyville Middle School, and I observed a 6th grade science class. This is where I got to do my first lesson plan, and it's my favorite lesson plan I got to teach, and the kids really enjoyed getting to integrate technology in the classroom as well as I was. And my third observation of last semester was at Morris Elementary, and I observed a 4th grade math class, and this is probably my favorite observation from that semester because of the age group. I knew I wanted to be somewhere in the elementary area from the get-go, and so it was really exciting to finally be in the elementary area. And then this semester I started out, I only did 2 observations, but they were longer, and my first observation of this semester was at Kids Are Kids Learning Center, which is where I work, and I observed a 2-year-old class and a 4-year-old class, and the 4-year-old class is the one I'm in every day. But this observation was different because it isn't the typical K through 12 education. They are constantly doing things with their hands and working with their senses. So it was a little bit of a different lesson plan that we created with them, but that was also a fun one, and I'll show you guys pictures later on. These kids did lots of crafty and art projects, and that's mainly what they focused on. So that was an interesting observation. And then my last observation, which was definitely my favorite of all my observations, was back at Morris Elementary. I was in a 5th grade reading class and in a 1st grade math class, and it was interesting seeing the 2 different grade levels and how they interacted with each other. And I got to do 3 lesson plans for this observation, and I focused mainly on 5th grade. I think it was probably my favorite observation because I got to help the teachers more, and I was more involved with the students and built more of a relationship with them. And my lesson plan. This is my favorite lesson plan I did, and this was in my second observation at Aubreyville Middle School in the 6th grade science class, and I was helping them prep for their knowledge on plate tectonics for their unit test in order to study for it. And so I created a Kahoot and if you don't know what Kahoot is, it's kind of a quiz, but they use their phones to connect to the quiz, and they enter in what their answer is. And so this was a fun lesson plan because I got to create the Kahoot and let them use their phones and computers in class, and they enjoyed that as well. Something I would do differently was maybe have them pair as partners and use phones so that they were working together more. I think they were getting almost too competitive with it and not making it more about a competition rather than what they were supposed to be doing, which is studying for their quiz. And but overall, I think it was a really good lesson, and I would definitely do something similar to that again, and definitely use Kahoot again. So that was my lesson plan. And the forums. So we got to do lots of forums last semester, and I picked two of my favorites. My first favorite was actually where we looked at two different webinars, and we got to write about what we learned in those webinars. And the first webinar I looked at was Feel Well, Teach Well, Ways to Gain and Sustain Wellness in and Out of the Classroom. And I think this webinar was definitely my favorite because it helped you to understand that it's not all about the students, that the teachers, in order to teach better, they need to deal with the pressures of teaching in and out of the classroom and manage it. And I think it offers better ways to take care of themselves, which can affect students and coworkers and themselves. And I think that this webinar was important because teachers need to focus more on themselves rather than just the students as well. And then the second webinar I looked at was Closing the Attitude Gap, How to Fire Up Your Students to Strive for Success. And I like this one because this man had a kind of a view that every student can be an honor roll student, and every teacher should look at their students like that to get them excited and to treat them all as if they are geniuses and that they can go as far as they want, and that's how it should be, and that can get your students to go farther and be more pumped up about school and be more willing to learn and take in information. So I thought that was super interesting. And then my second favorite forum was an article about Ron Clark. And Ron Clark, I think he's a really good example of a teacher who cares about making an impact on students' lives and what he's done in his life. I think most teachers should look up, or all teachers should look up to, as an example of how to be a good teacher. And his ways of teaching have helped a lot of students, and I think a lot of people should look more about him because he's a really good teacher and role model. Those are my two favorite forums. And then my project. So our project was started last semester and has carried on through the semester, and we just finished it up in early April. These are 3 pictures, and I'll explain those in a minute. But we began work on the Manhattan project mainly in January. We had talked about it in the previous semester. But we contacted some associates from the Manhattan School District over base camp, and we discussed our learning targets and our focus on our lesson, and we decided to have like a DNA focus because it is a STEM lesson, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. We were kind of looking for a focus in that realm for this project to teach to a group of 5th graders, and we ended up having the DNA. We had them build their own DNA strand, which this is what one of the outcomes is down here, this class right here. One of the groups built their DNA strand that we gave to them. They had a code, but it was really fun getting to teach them about the different professions that use DNA and the importance of DNA. And I think it was really fun to use the robot that we got to use in communicating all over technology with this school district. It was a really good experience. And then some of my photos, I won't go through all of these, but these are from my 4th grade observation. This is from Body Venture with some of my other associates. Oops, sorry. And this was at KU, Pearson Hall, and this was at our first conference, the Greenbush Conference. And this is just us messing around, presenting our lessons. This is me presenting to my group of, I think it was 6th graders, but these are actually my CAPS associates. And then just some team building exercises and more team building exercises, me and a couple of my associates. 3D printer, I thought that's super cool. This is at the Greenbush Conference. And this is at KU using Teach Live, which is a whole lot of fun. And then this is this semester. This is at the conference, the FEA conference in January. And we are presenters there as well. And we also helped manage the conference, which I thought was really a good experience. And then this is at Microsoft. We did a little tour with the Surface, and it's super fun. And me and my associate Abby made it on Blue Valley School District website. That was cool. And this is us presenting our lesson plan. And this is from my lesson plan I created with my first observation this semester at Kids Are Kids. And this I had them all get composition notebooks and do creative lesson plans within. This is a house someone drew. It's pretty good for a 3-year-old, I think. And then this is my last observation. This is a group of students I was helping study for their vocab quiz. And then I also received the Rotary Club Scholarship for CAPS, which is really good and awesome. And then, so that's my photos. And this is my classroom blog. I have been using this all semester. And whenever I'm in a classroom, I use it to kind of see or explain what I'm seeing and just go over what I'm learning in the class. And I think it's a really neat way to be able to reflect on what I do each day and just so I can keep this forever and look back and see what I learned from something and be able to grow from that. And so I'm really glad I got to do classroom vlogs. But thank you for listening, and email me with any questions at sarajane.haney@gmail.com. Thanks.